think that looks like a corner.
Is anybody cold?
I'm fine.
I feel okay. How about you?
Are you cold? Do you want me to turn up the heat?
No.
So Pap, you're 89, right?
Right.
So that means that you were born in the 30s?
31.
31?
Mm-hmm.
Woo. You're seeing some things.
And then Grandma.
Oh, do I have to tell you my age?
No, you don't have to.
I'm going to be 85 in April.
Yeah, I knew your birthday was coming up.
Mm-hmm. April 29th,
April 29th.
35.
And you are one of 3?
Yeah.
And you're one of 3 as well, right? Uncle Bobby
Yeah,
and Uncle Johnny.
Uh-huh.
And then
Johnny was 10 years older than you. Huh?
yeah, I was looking up Uncle Johnny's a bit actually, because I couldn't remember when Uncle Johnny was born.
But I'm pretty sure, yeah. How old was Johnny when he died?
I think
No.
I think it said 90,
Was he 90?
93, 91. I can't remember exactly what age.
I don't know. I really don't.
So were you close with him at all? Since
We weren't close.
You
I
weren't
went and
close.
seen him at
You know what? When
nursing.
there's 10 years between you, you're not close.
yeah.
He was gone. He was in the Navy when.
Yeah, because he was in. I'll get it.
Okay, there's 2 of them down there.
Okay. He was in World War II, right?
Yeah.
And you were too young for World War II.
Yeah.
And you were in the Army, right?
Yeah. Me,
Yeah.
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 You can go to the Army.
No? Did you want to?
No.
That's
In
pretty.
those days, girls didn't do that.
Well, I didn't know. Did you do nursing instead, or
No.
She wrote letters to me.
did she?
Yeah.
Do you still have the letters?
That was my job. I
Some
worked
of
in
them.
Bell Telephone.
You still have the letters?
Some of the letters I have. You
Yeah,
wrote
I
every
remember.
day. I wrote every day. She wrote every day to me, and I wrote every day to her.
Oh.
Some of the times he wrote by flashlight.
Oh wait! For a second, I was just picturing like Morse code.
Across the ocean, he had to hold the flashlight up.
So flashlights were much stronger back then than they are now, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But what I want to focus on today is your childhoods.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't really know much about your childhoods.
About what?
About your childhood.
Honey girl, we've been living long enough that we've forgotten our childhood.
Well, that's why I want to talk and try and remember it. You know, flex those muscles.
Oh, dear.
Uncle Johnny was 10 years older than you, right? No, Uncle Bobby. Uncle Johnny.
No,
Bob
Uncle
was
Bob was
younger.
just a couple
Bob
years
was younger.
older.
Bob.
Bob was, I think Bob was March, April, May, June, July, 16 or 17 months older than
Pat.
Pap.
Okay.
I thought it was 17. Bob was born March the 12th.
March the 12th.
Yeah. And you're July 18th.
Where did you grow up, Grandma? Was it Ambridge or?
We lived in a lot of different places. My dad had this thing that he never knew when he got home if he was going to have to carry boxes out to the moving van or not.
Really?
Why was that?
My mother and my aunt loved to move. And we lived close to each other a lot of years. Like the one house we lived in, Fair Oaks on Plum Street.
Yeah.
It was the nicest street. And, well, when I think of home, when I think of where I might have grown up would be Plum Street. It was just homey.
Mm-hmm.
And so they lived upstairs and we lived downstairs. And then my mother started working when I was in 2nd grade. And so we moved closer to Conway. She worked at on the railroad. She worked in the shipping and receiving office, and she wanted to get closer to her work. And my dad worked at American Bridge. It was kind of like close enough for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived in Fair Oaks. We lived, first of all, I know the first place I think I remember Plum Street. I was Pine Street in Ambridge. And then there was Plum Street, and we moved to Dayton and lived in the project, the Anthony Wayne. And
Up by State Street?
yeah,
Okay.
but that only lasted a couple months. And then my mother and dad built a house out on, Sylvania Hills, across the road from Sylvania Hills Cemetery.
Where's that?
See, you don't even know where that is, huh?
No.
Out behind Rochester.
Oh, is it like past the high school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's where my mom and dad are buried,
Okay.
and all the Maloney's.
Maloney's.
All my mother's family is buried out there. Well, a couple of them are buried up in Swickley. Then I went to Rochester High School. I wasn't successful in high school.
You and me both.
Yeah, you're in kindred spirits. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it was.
And then I met Kenny when I was 16.
When you're 16?
Uh-huh.
Oh, high school sweethearts.
Well, he wasn't in high school.
No, because
He was 20. He was 20 and I was 16. But he
And
thought
I only
was-
found out how old she was. I said, "Oh my God, I'm robbing a cradle." That's how, I was a good bit older than her.
We didn't break the law or anything.
No. And then, Pap, where did you grow up?
In Ambridge.
In Ambridge?
You know where the old economy is in Ambridge?
Yeah.
Where they have the wall and all that? I grew up down around that area.
Okay.
You remember where Revco drugstore used to be? You know where Foodland used to be?
Yes.
It was right there on 16th Street on the boulevard.
Okay.
There's still a White House there on 16th Street. Now he grew up in that house.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first place he grew up was a block away, on top of a grocery store.
On top of the grocery
Schmidt's grocery store. And that's where we were on the second floor of that grocery store.
And then they moved down to 16th Street. Well, it was 16th Street, but down to this house, which there was no boulevard at the time. There was just a black cinder road. And then the hillside to get down to the river and the railroad track. And I guess must have had a good time there, huh?
Oh, it was great. We got in more trouble than you get sick of.
Talk about trouble.
How old were you when you stole great
She
stones?
was in college.
I'll just tell you,
Yeah.
there are some things I did. I was sorry we
Yeah.
did them because we could have got in real trouble.
This tree
Yeah.
was.
Have you matched any yet? I
I did.
haven't matched anyone. I just got things here that look like they might match.
But then I got a job at Bell Telephone.
And that was in
This
Rochester.
is the left side.
That's this
Man, I
is
can't
down
find
here.
anything.
So did either one of you play sports when you were growing up? Like baseball, football,
I played jacks.
jacks? Were you a good jack player? Did you play jacks very well?
No, I tell you what, I had a girlfriend. She played jacks, and she had the longest, nicest, prettiest fingernails.
I think I matched one.
Yay!
And I always wanted long fingernails like her.
And now
guess
you
what?
Now you got them.
Now I don't have any jacks.
do.
I guess I have to go buy some jacks.
They're not that expensive.
In my old age, huh?
So when we grew up, they were tearing up the roads. They were putting new pipelines in. And I mean, they would go way down deep to put it in. This is in the old economy area. And we would be playing on that sand, jump from the top, maybe 2 stories, and go in and up to your knees in soft sand, you know?
Oh man.
And this is right along the railroad. And we used to have a great time out of it. Every night we were out there playing
How
on that
about your
stuff.
dad coming at the top of the road? You weren't allowed to go swimming in the river.
Oh, well, we weren't supposed to, and
Did
my
you break-
buddy told my dad that, he said, he said, you see that boy over there? I was on you got a hill like this, you got a hill,
Mm.
then you got a level of some railroad tracks, and then you got a hill again into the river. So it's all bad news.
Yeah.
And when my dad came over and he said, you see that one guy over there? Yeah, he said, well, that's your son.
Oh
My
no.
dad, that's the only time I ever known my dad to take a belt to me.
Daddy Dan.
Daddy Dan took a belt to me, and I mean, he didn't whack real hard, but he hit.
Enough for you to remember.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
How old were you when that happened?
I don't know. I really don't.
Old enough to know better.
Railroad tracks were like this. They were on a curve. You didn't
Oh,
hear
so you
that
didn't
train.
know.
You didn't hear that train till it was on top of you.
And so since you and Johnny weren't close since he was older, were you and Bobby like attached to the hip?
No. Anything but.
Anything but.
Anything but. We were both in the same grade because he had failed in one grade. Him and I used to get into fights in the gym. We would get in fights all the time. There might be 10, might be 15 guys on the floor, and him and I would end up fighting. That's the truth.
You were a scrapper.
Oh God, we used
But
to
it
fight.
didn't stop. It didn't stop there.
No?
They would yell back and forth.
And then when the war broke out, my dad was the chief air raid warden for the 4th Ward. And I was a messenger boy. I used to ride my bicycle to different,
Back and forth.
to different units, you know. I thought I was something.
Where did that take place at?
Yeah,
In Ambridge?
in Ambridge. And they turned a old economy building into the headquarters. And they put a pool table in there.
Really?
Yeah, and everything else.
That was like the General's Lounge.
It was, and my dad was the chief air raid warden.
So you
My
felt, you
dad
felt
hung
like,
out at the fire hall.
Yeah. I was a Boy Scout, but I only liked to camp. I didn't like the other stuff. I used to like to go camping. Camp Baker, and that was out behind.
How long were you in the Boy Scouts?
Oh, I don't know. I only wanted to go camping. I didn't want to do all the other stuff.
You didn't want to have to earn the medals.
Same. If you guys had to remember your earliest memory.
Oh, gee, I remember being born.
No. Yep.
I don't.
Oh, I remember Alyssa being born.
Oh, I remember Alyssa being born. I
When
remember
Alyssa
Alyssa
was born,
turning
this
orange.
is true. It was over in Ohio Valley Hospital,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And we were there, and I was there, and this one woman was, and I was looking at Alyssa, and I said, "That's my first grandchild."
That was
No.
not. That was with Joshua.
That was Josh was your first
Joshua
grandchild.
was.
Yeah. I was your
But I
first
didn't-
granddaughter. First granddaughter.
Wasn't it Alyssa we had to take from to Swickley Hospital because she was so jaundiced?
Yeah, I had to be in the incubator.
Yeah. Not a stitch on you, I saw you. Not a stitch on you, kid.
Oh my.
They had to put glasses on her just because of the radio waves or whatever.
Alright, so let's get back to the earliest memory.
What's your earliest memories, Kim?
My earliest memory, I think it has to be kindergarten that I can remember.
Really?
Well, no, actually, it was learning to swim. Vividly remember the first day of kindergarten as well.
Really?
Yeah, and that was because one of my classmates was crying because she missed her mom.
You know where the senior citizen building is in Ambridge?
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a school there. It's a hill on 5th Street there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a playground, like bars in cement. And I remember on these bars, I used to bend over at my waist and go around.
Oh, you did like a somersault.
Yeah. I remember loving to do that. And every time we go past there, I think of that.
Really?
Yeah.
You were a gymnast in training.
Well, my dad was very agile. He taught me to stand on my head. He taught me how to turn somersaults and stuff like that. He was really very agile. It's just funny. The places, don't you do that when you pass certain places? Like how many times I say, "Oh, I remember such and such," and right there.
There was like one, two, maybe 3 houses, and then there was a walk between them, maybe from here to the wall. And then there was another 3 or 4 houses. These were like row houses.
Okay.
And we were all, of course the war was going on, and we were always battling war, guns and so forth. We got like a broomstick, and we cut it, and then we made a point on the doggone broomstick. Somehow, I don't know how we got the equipment, And then we got a shield for it, and we got rubber bands, heavy rubber bands like you'd use for your for a bicycle. And we got behind someone, and he had pulled and let that thing go. It went like through it went past like 2 or 3 houses across the road, and there was a garage over there with about 4 cars, 4 road, hit the side of that one and just shattered the one door.
Really?
Okay, you know, we got the heck out of there. I don't know whatever happened. Somebody from the window saw us doing that and took it off of us. That was dangerous. That somebody could have got killed with that.
Oh man.
That was one story that.
Do you remember making these guns out of a piece of wood?
Rubber bands.
Yeah, an old inner tube.
Cut old inner
a little,
tube.
like an inch worth of
Yeah.
an inner tube.
Kind of like a slingshot, kind of.
Yeah. And those things hurt if you got hit with them. I had a brother that did that.
He hit you with them?
Hmm?
He hit you with them?
Yeah.
So when you were kids, did you get to go on vacation anywhere?
No.
Yes,
No.
you did. You went to Stone Harbor, New Jersey.
Oh, I went with my aunt. Yeah.
That's vacation.
My aunt went to Stone Harbor every year for a certain amount of,
She
for the
had
whole
a
summer.
house there. Where did Shirley go? What was the name of the place in New Jersey Shirley used to go to a couple times?
I don't know what the name, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but
She worked for these real rich people in Beaver, and every year they had her drive all their stuff that they needed for the summer down to Bayhead.
Okay.
Bayhead, that was it.
She and I drove down there together, and so we're driving along, and these 4 sailors come up on the right-hand side of the road to pass us. And I was eating an orange. And they said, they had their window rolled down, and he went like this, you know, like a baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And so I threw it over.
You threw it at him? Did he catch it?
It wasn't the driver, it was the guy in the back seat. Yeah, he did, he caught it.
He caught it?
And they wanted us to pull over. Well, we didn't pull over.
That's good.
Things where she lived, it was on a hill, or it was on a, down here, and here was a hill, and there used to be a well, there's still
It
a
was across the
cemetery.
road.
There was a cemetery out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going home one night, and her mother worked on the railroad, and I got a hold of a lantern, you know,
She gave you a lantern for Christmas one year.
got to the top of the hill, and I knew she'd be watching. It was pitch black at night, and I got outside the car, and I was doing this with You remember that, Patty?
Yeah, but see, you did that all the time. That's what the railroaders used to do. You know, they were working on the railroad, and they would signal the engineer to come or go or whatever their signal was. I don't know, but everybody she knew got a lantern from her because she worked in the shipping and receiving, and that's where they have all the supplies. And everybody got these wool blankets too. Do you remember the wool blankets she used to bring home?
No.
Oh, I hated them. We used to go on picnics every Sunday to Hubert's Beach out in Elwood City. Oh, we'd have to lay on these wool blankets in a wet bathing suit.
Oh.
There's nothing
Oh,
more
worst.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. So do you like building puzzles, Papa?
No. Well, there was a time too when I was with the gang. I was with a bunch of other guys, and we ran into Pat and her cousin. I think, well, maybe you just by yourself. I didn't want to go with the guys. I wanted to
Oh,
go.
that was when she lived in Fair Oaks.
I wanted to go with her. I didn't want to go with the guys. And she said, go ahead with the guys. Well, I couldn't say no now. You know.
Well, yes, you could.
No, I couldn't.
Yes, you could say, oh, I'd rather go with Pat.
Yeah. You can't do that.
Well, with that, what did it do to me when you when you said, okay, I'll go.
Well, you told them. You said, go ahead with them. Well,
What
we're
am I
not going to
gonna
say, okay, I can't go with you guys. I mean, I'll go with you guys, only because she told me.
You should have had enough love in your heart for me
Oh gosh.
Oh,
to
man.
say,
Ha! Ha! Yeah, can you imagine kids saying something like that? You're talking like an adult now.
Oh, man.
How old were you guys when you got married?
I was 20,
So he was
24.
24.
I was young and I was skinny. I was skinny.
Didn't take you long after you got home from Korea.
We were kids. We used to look for trouble to get into.
I could see
And
that.
this is the truth. We threw. Then there was no milk. The milk containers were not plastic or wax coated or nothing like that. They were bottles.
Mm.
And we found this one teacher who gave some kids some trouble.
Oh, yeah?
And we peppered the side of her house with glass bottles. Scared the heck out of her, you know, and they would have. And we could go to jail probably for what we did there. Then they decided they were going to do something else, and I said, not me, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done.
You know what they did with the bottles? Where they threw them?
What's that?
In the hallway of the police station.
Oh, gosh.
No kidding, that is the absolute truth. I said, you guys are crazy, I'm not going to do that.
Did they get arrested?
No, nobody caught them. They were running so fast.
Oh,
Really?
They were running so fast.
What about my honeymoon?
You went to Niagara Falls, right?
Oh man, the coldest day of my life. The motel was so cold. Standing watching the falls, I said, let's get out of here.
Just somewhere around.
And you were still working at Bell whenever you guys got married,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then when did you start your architecture?
I'll tell you what, it's kind of funny because the first day back I was late for work.
Really?
Do you know where we lived?
No.
We rented a little house over on Ridge Road Extension.
It was like a railroad, you know, you go in the living room, then was the kitchen and then the bathroom. But the bedroom was over here off of the kitchen. I remember one time we were coming in from being out, wherever we went, a movie or I don't know, somebody's house or something. And it was wintertime and windy, oh my goodness. Got out of the car, he got out of the car, and we must have stopped for gas or something. And he took his money out of his pocket and took his wallet out to put a couple bills in his wallet. And the $5 bill went flying. It wasn't a couple bills, it was the $5 bill. We had $5 left to payday. And that $5 bill went flying in the road.
The border's done!
The border's done all the way around.
Yes!
Now that's the easy part, huh?
Yeah. So now, next time I come over, we'll have to work on the insides.
It's time to bleed then.
Mm-hmm.